Explaining dependency containers. What are they in very clear terms? What is a dependency container? In the context of SwiftUI and dependency containers, a dependency refers to an object or value that a particular component or module relies on to function correctly. Dependencies are usually external to the component and need to be provided from an external source, such as a dependency container or an initializer. Here's an example to illustrate the concept of dependencies in SwiftUI. Let's say we're building a shopping app and have a product list view that displays a list of products. The product list view needs access to data source objects, such as a product repository, to fetch and manage the product data. In this scenario, product repository is considered a dependency of the product list view because it is an external object that the view relies on to fulfill its responsibilities. The product list view can't function properly without the product repository. So to ensure that the product list view has access to the required dependency, you can use dependency container. A dependency container is a mechanism that manages and provides dependencies in different parts of your application. For instance, you could define a dependency container class that holds references to various dependencies, including product repository. The dependency container can be instantiated at the app's entry point and passed down the view hierarchy as an environment object or through Swift's UI's dependency injection mechanisms. Once the product repository is registered with the dependency container, the product list view can request it from the container and use it to fetch and display product data. This way, the dependency container acts as a central repository for managing dependencies, allowing different components of your SwiftUI app to easily access the objects they require without creating tight coupling between them. Overall, dependencies in SwiftUI refer to external objects or values that are required by a component to function correctly, and dependency containers provide a way to manage and provide these dependencies throughout your app. Imagine you're cooking a delicious meal and you need a bunch of ingredients. Now think of your application as a kitchen where you're cooking. In this analogy, the dependency container is like a well-stocked pantry that holds all the ingredients you need. Just like a pantry provides easy access to ingredients, a dependency container organizes and provides easy access to the dependencies your application needs. It acts as a central storage space where you can keep and retrieve all the necessary objects your service relies on in your app. Instead of running around the kitchen and searching for each ingredient individually, you can simply go to the pantry, the dependency container, and grab what you need. Similarly, instead of passing dependencies between different parts of your application, you can rely on the dependency container to provide these dependencies wherever they are needed. The dependency container keeps your code organized and promotes modularity. It ensures that each part of your application can access the dependencies it requires without worrying about how those dependencies are created and managed. It's like having a well-organized pantry that saves you time and effort in finding and using ingredients efficiently. By using a dependency container, you can focus on developing different parts of your application without getting tangled in the details of dependency creation and management. The container takes care of that for you, just like a pantry takes care of keeping your ingredients ready and accessible for your culinary adventures. So here's an example. We have a project called Dependency Content View, right? And so now I'm not going to type the code out because I've already typed it out. And I'm just going to explain what's going on. So right here, you have a content view, and I'm going to run this. Mhm. And there it is. This is this content view, right? So I have a navigation link in a VStack, and this it says shared resource. And this is it right here. The text and navigation link, shared resource, hello world. Where's hello world coming from? It's coming from a shared resource. Okay. This shared resource is within called data service, and this is our dependency container in a sense, right? And it's very simple. It's our this is where we are getting our data from. This. Okay. And again, this is a super simple, oversimplified example. Again, so in this situation, we need whatever is in data. In our case, it's hello world, you know. But this could be a network service, right? It could be something that has information or functionality for an API call, and you're returning back some data or a data set, right? An array of custom objects, or a just one big custom objects one big custom object that has arrays in it, right? Whatever it is. Okay. And of course, this property is published, observable object published, right? Go here to our content view. And with SwiftUI, you have your environment object, var data service. Okay. And that's what this is. So this is decoupled and set up very differently than how you would in UI using UI kit. Okay. And now this is our button that basically we're changing the value of this shared service, right? And so now the data property in data service is now Norbert changed me, right? And I can go ahead and link to our next class, our next struct, our next view, which is second view. Let's go to second view. Okay, and this is second view. Again, environment object takes data service. Oh man, this is so much cleaner and simpler than using a delegate protocol pattern, right? Or some of the other patterns when we use UI kit. And again, we just have this here. We're not overtly trying to pass it with something. We're not laying the responsible of injecting it, So how did we inject it here in the content view, right? With a value, right? Because this isn't optional, right? How do we do that? Well, let's go here to our app struct. And this is it right here. We create an instance of it, and content view dot environment object, right? Again, this is why I talk about in our in the presentation, right? Is doing this in the root controller, right? At the very start. So now we set this value here, we change it, and then we can also have the ability to reset it back to hello world, right? And again, if you if you want this functionality, there's a link. There's going to be a link in the description, so you can look at the code yourself. But let's go here and let's run it and let's see what's going down. Move this out the way. Hello world, changing the value of the resource, right? I changed the value. Norbert changed me. Let me click on here and see. Second view. Norbert changed me, right? Change the value back. Hello world. Let's go back here. It's hello world. Go back. Hello world. Okay. Go back. Norbert changed me. Go there. Norbert changed me. Go back. Norbert changed me. So you see, it actually changes the value, right, of this shared resource. And this is again, and you're doing it in a way that's decoupled, right? And this right here, data service. It's a shared service. You can always go here and this is a dependency that is used to display, to get data for display in your views right here. Okay, it's super simple, it's oversimplified, but this is an example. Again, there's a link in the description. Get that, download this, and kind of walk around through it. This will, if you are not familiar with dependency containers, this will this is kind of like an introduction, you know. And of course, I cover this in UI kit, but it's done differently in some of my other videos. But going forward, I'm going to be all about SwiftUI. So yeah, on to the next.